Welcome to the Reddit Rainforest. Don't forget to grab your hat rope and boots. We are heading into the forest for some loot. Today, NSFW people who signed up for those duck a local Milf websites. What happened? Is there actually an abundance of local Milfs wanting to be ducked? There are actually real girls chatting with you on some sites. My ex-girlfriend did one of those live chat things for a while and showed me how it works. So you log into a site and you assume a fake girl profile with fake profile pictures and fake personal info. You get assigned several dudes you can chat with simultaneously. Before you got them assigned, other girls have already chatted with them. When you log in, you just have to continue the chat that other girls before you have started. You can see the chat log because you will have to continue the chat so that the dude does not suspect that you now are a different person. The point of all this is that you can work when you want. If you log off, another girl will take over, and if you log on, you take over from another girl. Every sentence must contain a minimum of words. So no short answers like yes, no, or something like that. It has to be complete sentences. You get paid the more you write. If you do this a whole day, it's like minimum wage. If you do this long enough, you will get a pay upgrade. The dude has no idea he is chatting with different girls, all who uphold a fake profile. The dude will ask for pictures of you, and you have a gallery with nude pics of a random girl that you can send to him. He will also send pictures to you. The dude will continuously ask for a meetup, and the rules are that you, as the girl, must give vague answers like yeah, let's maybe meet up next week, and keep asking him questions. The goal here is to keep the dude in the chat as long as possible, for he is paying for every message. It's like telephone sex, but in text form. Edit. Forgot to mention that you chat with several dudes simultaneously this way. Edit 2. Since people keep asking, yes, you can be a guy behind the fake profile. Sorry for not mentioning this earlier. These informative comments are so underrated. Thanks. I can come up with a bit more. I remember that my ex thought it was exhausting for her, so she did like a couple of hours every other day, more or less. So not full time, and that would maybe translate to a couple of $100 a month in my country's currency for say 30 hours work. And the thing is, you cannot just write anything you want. You have to study what the other girls have written before you and jump off that, so you do not contradict yourself if the dude wants to know more about you and what you have talked about before. At the same time, you must be flirty and come up with questions that keeps the dude interested to continue to chat. It's more work than it sounds, and thus exhausting to do for several hours in one sitting. My ex did not think that it was worth the money. Also, she said that those dudes come from exactly those kind of meet this hottie and insert your city now ads. These dudes are always desperate and thirsty middle-aged men. I tried it myself one time together with my ex, just for fun. It's really harder than it sounds. I really had trouble to come up with things to write, and I had to always check the chat log so that I did not contradict or repeat myself. The fun novelty of this whole thing wore out pretty quickly. People who ducked a local Milf without going through those duck a local Milf websites. How? Started speaking with a girl at a club once and introduced me to her mother, who was there with her. Ended up going back with the mother. Would do it again. In 2005 I was about 25 and responded to her NSA post on Craigslist. She sent some pics. She looked hot. Had a chat on the phone. Met in a fancy hotel restaurant for a drink. She was pretty much like the photos. Way out of my league. I was not in great shape. Was not that comfortable with myself. We went upstairs. I could not get it up. That was it. Still think about her regularly. Was traveling for work and hanging out at the hotel bar on a late Friday afternoon debating what to do with my evening. 2 early 50s later sat down with a seat between us. I was in my mid 30s. We got to talking because I was the only other person at the bar. One drink turned into a few, and they decided to go to a live music venue that had food. Invited me along. I said sure, why not. More drinks. One was down for it, and conveniently we were in the same hotel. I'm not good looking, and they were not winning any contests either. Alcohol helped. I do not even remember their names. I spend half my life traveling for work. Hang out at enough bars and stuff eventually happens. I was nice to her at work for several weeks. Then saw her at a bar shortly after a bad breakup, and we started conversing. 2 nights later I get a 12 AM text asking me where I was. I was drinking alone at my condo. Remember bad breakup. So I responded that I was drunk at home, and she wrote back you should be drunk at my house. My kids are at their dad's. So I head to her place, which was not far from mine, but it was in a swanky gated neighborhood. Knock on the door. Start making out. Pick her up and carry her to the bedroom. Ended up having sex with my pants around my ankles and my boots on. and crawling into extremely comfy king-size bed and sleeping like a baby. It was a real turning point after my breakup. Facebook Marketplace worked for me twice anyway, which is 2 more times than any actual dating site. This is a story I need to hear. Not all that exciting, I'm afraid. In both cases I sold something, made small talk when meeting up, and kept a conversation going later. I'm also a bit older, so not your typical Milf seduces 18-year-old type of porn fantasy. Lonely single Milfs bored and selling malarkey on FB to meet dudes is maybe a thing. Congrats on your niche. We met at a potbelly sandwich shop when I was visiting Portland. She started the conversation with me and it just felt natural. We ended up spending a good part of the day together and exchanged numbers. She later texted me asking to meet up for drinks. You get the gist of what happened next. I had no intention of it ever happening, which is the best part. Get a job in healthcare. Thank me in 4 to 8 years. Make them feel like the most beautiful woman in the room. Flirt constantly. Make it clear the age difference does not matter to you. Also, be good in bed if you want it to happen more than once. But, in my experience, do not expect an actual relationship, and do not assume you're the only one stucking. Have divorced woman with no kids join your workplace. Be 10 years younger. Hit on her. Proceed to smash until her biological clock starts ticking. She finds a better prospect or you get bored. Repeat for next 10 years. Picked her up on Halloween outside a bar on my way home. She was walking to her car with her stepsister who was 15 years younger. I was flirting with both of them and told them to come over to my place for an after party. In the car they were both joking about who was gonna duck me, and I knew it was gonna be a good night, no matter who I got. Ended up back at my place and we all have a drink, and I was sitting in between them on the couch. Some sexual comments turn into kissing and touching both of them. Then my dick comes out, and the rest was just like a porn scene. That was the last threesome I had. Now considering they were stepsisters, they did not get intimate with each other or touch each other, but had no problem switching off and keeping busy. So, obviously fear fake 100% just a scam to try and get your credit card info or charge you money for stuff. Sometimes you can get into the sites without entering information, but most will at some point end up trying to bribe you / would not let you continue without paying. As for the local Milfs, they're either robots which have a programmed conversation, which is really just a few questions and then buy premium to meet with me, or someone who is really invested in getting you to click on the link they sent you so you can meet up in sexy time. Angie really ISN not 8 miles away looking for big dick. Just a guy with a fake website looking for some dummies. They will also use your email to hand out to other services who will spam you with how women with really unique names like Sarah, Jennifer, Laura want to intercourse. So you now have a constant flow of sex telemarketing in your mailbox. It's funny living in a rural area and see the Anna is 2 miles away and want to meet you. I have about 12 houses within 2 miles of me and I know all of them. So I think, wow, I can't wait to meet my new neighbor lol. Farmers only? I went on there once, just for the lulz because I, unfortunately, live in a smaller town in Tennessee and oh my lord. There ISN not a single attractive person on there. Everyone is either 300 plus LBS or looks like a meth head. It's like someone took the audience of a redneck monster truck rally and put them on a website. I clicked on one of those once in my younger years out of interest and possibly desperation. Sadly no local Milfs wanted to duck that night, but I did meet a lovely Milf a few years later in a bar. Did not end too greatly though. Got kicked out as I was rounding third. Story time. Met this girl in the bar. Figured she was about early 30s. Did not really care. We hit it off. A very rare instance for me at the time. And after being a few drinks deep she proposes we go back to her place. Once we get there we start making out and soon enough she's telling me if I go down on her shell, do the same for me. So as I'm under the sea I hear her phone go off and suddenly she goes you have to leave. I ask her why and she basically goes, my daughter's about to be home. Go now. So she grabs my arm motioning me up, throws my shirt at me, and essentially throws me out the back door. She tells me to walk up the neighbor's drive and shuts the door in my face. Nothing too substantial, but that was my one and only Milf experience. As a cop I can tell you, almost all women looking for sex sites are for prostitution. As a woman I can tell you, we do not have to advertise on the internet. Seriously, no matter how old, fat, ugly you think a woman is, someone out there is ready to hit it. Yep, a chance to smash is a chance to smash, as a friend of mine used to say. In war times, any hole is a trench. Yeah. So not my proudest moment, but here goes. I was deep into a jousting session one night and saw one of these ads. It was something along the lines of meet local mature women in your area. I figured there might actually be local Milfs in my area who want a young guy. Crazier things have happened. It took me to a sign up page where I made a fake account with a made up name and old email address I had not used for years. Once signed up, it showed a number of Milfs were online and wanted to chat. I proceeded to chat to them, but they were obviously bot/scripted and had extremely dead chat. I have literally had better chat from the W302 bots at Drainer Willows. It was that bad. I then ran out of messages and had to buy premium to continue chatting. I think it was a 5.99 one-off payment, which was probably a scam. You have made it until the end of this video. Now listen here, and listen here closely. Like and subscribe for more videos from the Reddit Rainforest. Thanks for watching.